What's up, guys? It's Kamikaze Fox here, coming to you from the SRL League, the Sandro Racing League. I'm trying to get the stream set up for everybody. This is round 13. I'm sorry, round 14, the Malaysian Grand Prix, Season 3 of the F1 2017 SRL on PS4 platform. See some of the drivers getting ready to head out here, do some outlaps. Lots to catch up on from last race, which was about 3 weeks ago in Mexico. Quite an eventful race. Take a look here. It looks like this is Alexito Benarichetti doing his outlap. Bear with me here 1 second, guys. We're getting things set up for other viewers around the globe. So welcome to this Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon, depending on where you are. As we do the Malaysian Grand Prix, and finally, in the real world, Formula One is back as they are having their opening race weekend in Australia. If you didn't catch qualifying, it was quite exciting. I won't spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it yet. But we're not talking about qualifying for Formula One, we're talking about qualifying for the SRL League, which is what we got going on here and now. Looks like Benarichetti has gone ghost already, possibly internet connection issue. We'll do a quick driver list here. And looks like Ozo Francis, that is Francis McGinn, is already lost connection. So how about that? So run down the driver list here. We have Alexito Benarichetti here in the Red Bull Renault. Sandro Dulis being the Scuderia Ferrari. SRL Sam, that is Sam Brandt. He made a reserve return last time out at Mexico. We weren't sure if it was going to be a one-off outing like Jensen Button did last year at the Monaco Grand Prix, but it looks like Sam is going to be reserve driver for Haas for the remainder of the season, and he is racing today. Beastie Kids, that is Louis Quinlan. He's in the Sahara Force India. Ozone Francis is Francis McGinn. Looks like he's having some internet issues along with VY Gaming. That's Yannick Pemberton. He is also having some issues. We've got a caution in Sector 2. Let's take a look here at Colin Higgins in the Scuderia Toro Rosso. Nick Van Gilder in the factory Renault. His teammate Sam Elvin. And Joey FY, that is Yoda Marusic in the other Sahara Force India. Karakayam is Bart Catelda, and we've got lots to talk about with him here in the next couple minutes. Gamer Freak is going to be Renee van der Stap in the Mercedes, and then rounding out 13 drivers today will be Cameron Weston Edwards in the Sauber. And we are going to talk about Bart Catelda here because we do have some big news. If you didn't catch it on the SRL YouTube page, championship points leader and dominant force throughout this whole year, Killian Brady, has decided to retire from the amateur leagues. He was doing SRL. He also did some IRL earlier this year. Quinlan sets the first fastest lap, followed by Van der Stap. So Brady has decided to retire from amateur and is focusing his efforts towards the FIA-sanctioned Formula E sports, and going to follow the steps of Brendan Lee and see if he can make a name for himself that way. Killian Brady is technically still the SRL points leader. So Catelda is 28 points behind in the standings, so he should easily be able to take that over, but the point standings will stay for the time being. So unless something happens to Catelda throughout the course of the rest of the season as it winds down, there is a small outside chance that Brady will still finish top 3 in the points. But he's going to focus his efforts towards Formula E. So Brady finishes off the year with 223 points. He's got 5 wins, 6 poles, and he only had 1 DNF, and that was back in Bahrain in round 10. Brady had not won a race since round 9. So some discussion there. Some think that there was possibly some frustration along with the RL and SRL leagues that possibly was having some issues. And it looks like Dion Stahl is going to be joining the session in his factory Ferrari. And you see Cadelda has set the fastest time as he jumps to the top of the charts, 1:31.326. Federicetti, his teammate, currently second, followed by Julius, third. Van Gelder is fourth. Vanderstap going into the pits, fifth fastest time. Sam Brandt, sixth. Marusic is currently seventh. Colin Higgins, eighth quickest. Quinlan, ninth. And Banana Troll, Sam Elvin be rounding out your top 10 so far in times. Francis McGinn, Yannick Lepperton is yet to set a time. Yannick Lepperton is yet to set a time, so he has his name right. And Cameron Weston Edwards is yet to set a time. Dion Stahl has joined the session. I do not believe he'll be able to qualify, but he should be able to participate in the race. Dion Stahl will be starting at the back of the grid. So I want to thank our viewers that are tuning in. And around goes Elvin. Interesting spot, very low speed corner. Also in other news, Williams Martini driver as Elvin goes around again. Not sure what his deal is here all of a sudden. And he goes around one more time. So either Sam Elvin is having some terrible issues with his car, or he's out horsing around, which would probably cost him a penalty. As he goes around again, we continue to watch this. Now he's impeding on Williams' driver, or I'm sorry, Sahara Force India. So not sure what the deal is with Sam Elvin. I mean, he set a halfway decent time. He's 3 seconds off the pace, but lock up on the left front. Can't get the car to turn. There may be some discussion with him. Towards the end of this qualifying session, or even possibly after this race. Looks like he's starting to get up to speed now. And he is off one more time. So Elvin is having some, looks like technical difficulties maybe. Try and give him the benefit of the doubt. Take a look here at your running order one more time. Cadelda has set the fastest time with a 1:31.187. That's 1.9 seconds faster than anybody else. Federicetti is your second driver. Looks like Van Gelder is AI. He's heading into the pits. Sandro Julius in the Scuderia Ferrari, still out on track. He's fourth quickest so far, 1:33.176. Rene Vanderstap, Mercedes, fifth fastest. Francis McGinn looks like he's going to go ahead into the pits and do maybe a quick setup change. Sam Brandt in the pits, seventh fastest. Marusic, eighth fastest. Higgins, still out on track, running 1:33.876 is his best time. Louis Quinlan's managed to crack the top 10. And Elvin has headed into the pits. Yannick Lepperton is now on the track. His Haas, he had to set a time. He had an internet connection issue earlier. 2 minutes left to play in this qualifying session. He and Cameron Weston Edwards have yet to set a time, as Edwards does come across the line here in a moment. Comes out of the final U-turn. And Edwards is only good enough for 11th off the pace. Edwards has made a real strong run here the last few races to really put himself up into the points. He's currently fourth in the point standings. keep an eye on him. We've got a couple of viewers checking in. Lewis Marshall claiming he did not get an invite to this race. Certainly look into that. Double check your invites, Lewis. Sandro should have sent it out to you. Dion Stahl joined late and missed the qualifying, but he should be in for the race. So just some quick notes. We were starting to talk about the Williams driver Andrew Heff. That's also Fasconi. This is gamer tag. Andrew Heff has retired for season 3, our current season, due to work. Some work commitments have taken up too much time. Andrew Heff has decided to call it quits for now. He says he will return for season 4. In the meantime, Jack Tyler will be taking his place. He's not seen here, did not show up for today's race, but Jack Tyler will be taking Andrew Heff's place for the remainder of the season in the Williams Martini Racing Formula 1 car. Tyler seems to have a bit of a reputation, so we shall see how long he lasts in this. And it looks like Cameron Weston Edwards has put up the 6th fastest time and has decided to call it quits as he puts that time in just at the last moment. The clock winds down, so Gatelda is going to be your pole sitter. No surprise there. With Killian Brady out, we do have a new driver in the mix. He is not here presently, but that is Julian Van Rijk, I believe is his name. I ruined that pronunciation, I apologize, but Van Rijk will be taking over for Brady for the remainder of the season. So we're here for the Malaysian Grand Prix, where Sandro Dulius won this race back in SRL's opening season. Dominated his win, scored pole with the fastest lap. He hit the trifecta, pole, fastest lap, and a win in season 1. But back in season 2, he scored pole position during a very wet qualifying session by over half a second from the rest of the field, but he wasn't able to hang on to that position and ended up finishing 4th in that race. Kieran Falcon won that race in season 2. And then this is going to be the last year for the Malaysian Grand Prix for SRL, as it is also the not involved with the 2018 Formula 1 calendar. So 2017 was the last year in reality for the Malaysian Grand Prix. So it won't be on next year's Formula 1 calendar, 2018. Therefore, we're not going to be putting it in next year's SRL calendar as well. So we round out your timing and scoring here for pole position Bart Gatelda. Gamer Freak with a nice run. Oh, Francis McGinn sets one here at the last second. 132.268. So McGinn will be starting on the front row. Rene Vanderstap in 3rd. Ben Ricchetti 4th. Nick Van Gelder 5th. Julius has dropped to 6th in the charts. Cameron Weston Edwards 7th. Marusic is 8th. Sam Brandt 9th. Colin Higgins 10th. Louis Quinlan 11th. Sam Elvin, who had all that problem, is now 12th. And 13th will be Yannick Repentin. Looks like we've got Praga X30 who's joining us. That is Lewis Marshall. So he did heed my device. So Lewis Marshall should be able to join the race along with Dion Stahl. They'll be starting in the back of the field. So we'll have a 15-car field, it looks like, for today's race as we wait for this game to count down for the time remaining and get this started. So with a couple more drivers joining, that'll definitely be in the mix. And sunny qualifying for the Malaysian Grand Prix here. It'll be interesting to see. Weather has always been a factor in Malaysia in reality. It was definitely a wet season 2. I also believe it was wet in season 1, so we'll see if that streak continues. Sam Elvin has confirmed he was having some controller issues. He seems to have those fixed now. Also, he qualified 11th. As you saw, his car was all over the place. So, According to Elvin, he has got that situated, hopefully for the race. Take a look here at this running order. So Catalda scores his 8th pole position of the year. No surprise there. Francis McGinn gets the start on the front row. Picked up his first win a couple weeks back. So McGinn's going to try and hold it strong for McLaren, minus Killian Brady, and with no showing from Julian Van Der Rijk for today. And folks, Sepang never disappoints. It is raining. The great equalizer. It rained last time out in Mexico for round 13, which was a very interesting race. It rained at the beginning of the race. There was a little bit of a dry area where the driver switched over from full wets to intermediates, and then the track completely dried out later in that race where they switched from intermediates to dries. That was last time out in Mexico. Bart Cataldo won that race. He picked up a 6th win of the year back at round 13. Cameron Weston Edwards finished 2nd. Julius picked up 3rd place on the podium. And Nick Van Gelder, who we thought was going to have a good race in the wet at Mexico because he did so well at Spa, ended up getting his first DNF of the year. Jan Holm, who is not present today, picked up his 7th DNF back at round 13 in Mexico. So the drivers are off to do a reconnaissance lap in this very, very wet session. Be interesting to see who's going to be able to do what. Kenner as Bart Catalda will be starting first. Francis McGinn 2nd. Rene van der Stap on full wets 3rd. Betterichetti has gone around on the reconnaissance lap by his lonesome. He'll be 4th. Van Gelder is sitting at the line. Julius is doing a reconnaissance lap. Cameron Weston Edwards is out. And you see Betterichetti is still off in the grass there as he tries to get going. Oh, and there he goes. Looks like we're having some glitch issues here. Don't know if that's my internet or Betterichetti's, but he is all over the place. See if we can fix our bandwidth problem here. So not sure if that's my internet or his. So, but he's all over the place. Marusic is where we left off. He's 8th. Sam Brandt 9th. Higgins 10th. Quinlan 11th. Sam Elvin 12th. Hopefully has his controller fixed. Repenton is 13th. Lewis Marshall 14th. He has joined the race. No Dion Stahl. I saw that he had joined the session for qualifying. But he's nowhere to be seen here. So we've got 14 drivers. We look out the back of Betterichetti's car. So hopefully he has his connection issues straight. Hopefully I have mine straight as well. Car set to the grid. Here we go. Very wet Malaysian Grand Prix. This is F1 2017 on the PS4 platform. Season 3 of the SRL Championship. And that is the SRL, that is the Sandro Racing League. Lights out. Time to run what you brung. Slow start in this very wet session. Look at the spray. You've got some cars down on the inside there. Catalda is off and running. Francis McGinn, Rene van der Stap. See who's going to push wide. Van Gelder. Looks like the 3 ride there. It looks like one of the Red Bulls may have an issue. That might be Betterichetti. And Betterichetti has gone ghost, so it looks like he's got some issues. Looks like some of the other cars are going off. Betterichetti has dropped to the back of the field. Looks like... and he has rejoined Looks like he is having some internet issues. We'll take a look here at Lewis Marshall in the Williams. Oh, and around goes one of the... Oh no, that was Sam Brandt. It looked like he's off. Sam Brandt and Louis Quinlan made contact in the corner. Both got pushed off wide. Marusic has lost a couple of spots now. Higgins trying to hang tough. He's sitting there behind Sam Elvin. We take a quick look back up front now. Catalda is your leader, and he is off to the races. He's out in front by 2 seconds over Francis McGinn. Nick Van Gelder is up to 3rd place. Rene van der Stap is up to 4th. Weston Edwards 5th. Dooley's is seeing pressure from Yannick. And Verpetten tries to dive down to the inside. Oh, they almost touch their side by side. Oh, Verpetten has to dump back in line, and now you see one of the Williams there. That's Lewis Marshall. Oh, what a move by Marshall! Cuts to the inside. Oh, and he bangs wheels a little bit. And Marshall makes a pass on Sandro Dulius and Yannick Verpetten to pick up 6th spot. Get our camera settings straight here. Unbelievable move going down the front stretch by Lewis Marshall. And it looks like Van der Stap is trying to put the pressure onto Van Gelder, but Van Gelder is starting to pull out on him a little bit. Edwards is now closing in on Van der Stap for the 5th position. Julius just lost another position, it looks like. So he's dropped down to 8th. Marusic has lost another position. He's down to 11th. Benarachetti, who started towards the front, obviously had internet issues. He's worked his way from the back of the field at 14th up to 10th, so he finally made his way into the points. So we'll take a look at the battle for 4th place here. And Cameron Weston Edwards starting to close in on Van der Stap. You see how hard it's raining here in Malaysia. Look at this coming sideways. Oh no! And Van der Stap is off! He's going to lose some positions there. And he drops all the way back down to 8th as Sandro Dulius goes by. So Lewis Marshall with that has managed to make his way up to 5th as Catalda runs the fastest lap, the 150, 116. He ran a 131 in qualifying, so the rain is definitely wreaking havoc. Sandro has dived into the pits, possibly for a wing change. He's going to clearly have to stay on the full wets. And yes, he is getting a wing change. Julius will drop all the way back to, looks like, the 12th position at this point. He is off and running. Lewis Marshall, the man to watch right now. He's up to 5th position. He's starting to close the gap in on Cameron Weston Edwards for 4th. And he has made some bold moves so far in this race, and this is your closest battle on track. He's within 0.6 of a second of Edwards. Oh, goes a little wide there. The back end kicks out. The conditions are dreadful. There's so much spray. Not even sure how these drivers can see it. It looks like Benarachetti, he is battling it out with Higgins, and Dion Stahl has left the session. Looks like he was trying to join but was unable to make it happen. We're going to jump back into Benarachetti and Colin Higgins real quick. And Benarachetti looks like he's gotten around Higgins for 9th. Jump back to Lewis Marshall for the battle for 4th continues. Catalda is out to a 3.3 second lead over 2nd place Francis McGinn. And look how that front end is pushing as he dives into the corner there. It's a good run coming out of the last corner. Picks up another 10th down this front stretch. He's got the slipstream. I don't know how he could possibly see with so much spray coming off of Edwards' car. Catalda now runs a new fastest lap at a 149.6. jump back to Vanderstap real quick here. This is the battle for 6th place, and he's going to dive to the inside of Repentant, and he's not going to be able to make it stick here. Oh, they bang wheels a little bit, pushes him wide. Repentant cuts back, he had the better line on the next corner, trying to hold him off. But jump back to Lewis Marshall real quick, as he's all over the back of Cameron Weston Edwards. Dives down to the inside, Edwards, oh, and they make contact. Oh, and it's going to let the other guys catch up. Here comes Repentant around the corner, and now you get a 4-way battle. Oh, and look at this. Oh, no, and Lewis Marshall has left the session. He was doing so well in the Williams and has just left the session. Possibly an internet issue, possibly frustration. Hard to say. So now Repentant is up to 5th place. Marshall will continue to drop through the field. Rene Vanderstap has not given up on this battle here, as these two are in hot pursuit of Cameron Weston Edwards for 4th. Edwards might be a little bit stronger in the rain. So tough break for Lewis Marshall. Not sure if he lost internet connection or if it was a matter of frustration. He tried to make a move on Edwards and it didn't work. So an exciting few opening laps here. The Malaysian Grand Prix, where it's very wet. As you continue to watch the battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th here. 3-way battle for position. Closest battle on the track. Lewis Marshall's car continues to run AI. It's currently 8th. He should lose a position here relatively shortly. Colin Higgins is running 9th. He's about a second behind Lewis Marshall's car. That was a shame, too. Marshall was having a real good run. He made that bold move down the front stretch earlier to pass 2 cars. Looks like Repentan's actually closing the gap a little bit to Edwards. He's within half a second. Oh, and he runs very wide there, and here comes Vanderstap. He's also in the mix, don't forget. Meanwhile, Ben Ricchetti is still going back and forth with Colin Higgins. Lewis Marshall's car has now dropped to 11th on the grid. So we continue to watch this battle. Tough break for Marshall. Oh, and there goes Vanderstap. He runs very wide there. He's going to lose all of his time that he had gained on the other 2 cars there, Repentant and Edwards. Edwards now. Edwards is starting to find some speed. He's actually been able to pull the gap out now. Repentant was within 0.4 in striking distance of Edwards, but Edwards has now been able to pull out over a second gap between the 2 cars now. Now the question is Edwards going to be able to close the gap to Nick Van Gelder, who is running 3rd? Van Gelder is about 8 seconds ahead of Edwards. He was 7.9 seconds across the line last time. And Van Gelder runs wide there through the grass, so the answer is yes, Edwards is definitely going to be able to close up the gap a little bit. Van Gelder keeps that up. Van Gelder put on quite a show back at Spa where he made his season debut. It was wet there, and he was definitely a drift king that race. And then when it rained in Mexico last time out 3 weeks ago, it was just dismal. 2 laps down early in the race, ended up getting a DNF. So very hit and miss with Van Gelder so far this year in the rain. And in fact, this is his 3rd race this year where it has rained on him, and he's only been here for the second half of the season. He runs wide again in the grass. Runs wide again. Really pushing the limits of his car to try and find grip. It must be working a little bit because he's actually closed the gap to Francis McGinn, and he's pulled a gap on Cameron Weston Edwards. We'll take a look back. Verpenton is not done with Edwards, though. He's managed to close the gap back up to him. It was 1.2. He's now within striking distance again. He's all over the gearbox of Edwards' car. You see Vanderstappen is starting to creep back into the picture there as well. They get a run down the front stretch. Lewis Marshall's car is currently 11th. Take a look here, see if we can spot it. And he is currently still AI. So, possibly done for the day is Marshall. We'll wait to hear. So we jump back to this battle for fourth here. Uh-oh, and Benarichetti has left the session. We know he had internet issues earlier. He's managed to work his way up to 9th from 14th early on in the race. He started towards the front, lost his connection, dropped all the way back to 14th, worked his way back up to 9th, and now he's going to drop back in the field again. And now Verpenton is all over the back of the gearbox of Edwards' car. Vanderstappen creeping into the picture. And Vanderstappen is just waiting for something to happen between these two. Edwards is not the easiest car to get around. As proven earlier when Lewis Marshall and him made contact, Marshall either quit or lost his internet connection. Verpenton dives down to the inside. He's going to push him wide. Can he make it stick? No, Edwards does the crossover move. Tries to get back underneath of him. And now Edwards is all over the back of Verpenton's car as they head down the straightaway. And Edwards has the better line heading into the corner. And again, Verpenton's going to try a crossover move, cuts through the gas. Oh, and that's a 5-second stop-and-go penalty for exceeding the track limits. Verpenton in 2. Too excited to try and make that pass. A little overzealous to try and make that happen. And all the while this is happening, Vanderstappen is starting to creep back into the picture. And now with Verpenton having a 5-second stop-and-go penalty, he's going to have to alter his pit strategy just a little bit. And if you go back from Vanderstappen, Sam Elvin is actually putting in a halfway decent run after his dismal qualifying session. He had controller issues. The car was all over the place. He started 13th on the grid. He's managed to move up to 7th, and he's starting to creep into this battle here for the 4th, 5th, and 6th place positions. Sandro Dulius, who's in the Scuderia Ferrari, had to pit early for front wing damage. He dropped all the way back to 13th early on. He's managed to work his way back up to 9th after getting around Benarichetti's car, which is still currently AI. You continue to watch this battle here, and now Verpenton is all over the back of Edwards again. If Verpenton can keep his composure and keep his car on the track, he could make this pass, but the 5-second stop-and-go penalty on his first pit stop is really going to hurt him. This is your closest battle on track. Nothing's changed in the top. Mark Tilda is still your leader, followed by Francis McGinn, who's 7.5 seconds behind. Nick Van Gelder is followed by him in 3rd place. This is your battle for 4th between Cameron Weston Edwards, Yannick Verpenton, and Rene Vanderstappen. You can throw a blanket over these 3 cars. Johan Marusic has now moved up to 12th. He's gotten around Lewis Marshall's Ghost car, and he's all over the back of Sam Brandt for the 11th position. See Sam Elvin there coming down the front stretch, just starting to creep into the background a little bit. And Verpenton is really trying to work the back of Edwards' car. Maybe trying to force him into a mistake, but Edwards is very difficult to get around. He's very good at making that car wide, very good at taking defensive lines. You know, you talk about a lot of drivers that are aggressive attackers that try and make the pass, but it's the polar opposite with Cameron Weston Edwards. He's a very aggressive defender. Makes it very difficult for the guys to try and get around. Now, Verpetten's going to get a good run out of that corner. He can't quite get the speed there to get onto the inside of the next. Edwards runs a little wide there, a little offline, maybe trying to find some more wet tracks. You see a racing line starting to develop here, but the rain is still coming down in buckets. Oh, and Edwards backs and kicks out. That's going to allow Verpetten to catch up. See a little bit of counter steer there in the right front wheel. And now Van der Staap is all over the back of Verpetten. These three have done an amazing job to not take each other out, with the exception of Lewis Marshall being in this mix earlier, where he tried to make a move on Edwards and they collided. Marshall has left since then, still trying to figure out if it's an internet issue or a frustration issue, I like to put it. Working lap 10 of 28. And again, I want to thank our viewers for joining us today. Go ahead and, as they say, smash that like button, subscribe. You can check out the rest. Oh, and Van der Staap's out on the inside of Verpetten. He's trying to push him outside, and the wheels are interlocked with each other. Verpetten holds him off for now. That's a bold move by Verpetten to try and hold him off with a 5-second stop-and-go penalty. Van der Staap will reset, regroup, and try and make another run at him. And as I was saying, go ahead and smash the like button for SRL. That's the Sandro Racing League. And while there are a lot of SRL leagues, there is only one Sandro Racing League. Like, subscribe, catch up on all of this season's action with the live feeds that we've had. You can also catch up with news and notes. Got some videos on there with Killian Brady and his dismissing of the SRL league and leaving. You see Edwards runs very wide coming out of that corner, and now Verpetten is going to be all over the back of him again. Dives down to the inside. Oh, and Edwards shuts the door on him again. You can throw a blanket over these three. And it looks like Johan Marusik in the back there has now managed to get around Better Ricchetti. And there's a 5-second stop-and-go penalty for Nick Van Gelder, who's in third. So Better Ricchetti's car has now fallen another spot down as Marusik moves up to 8th. And Verpetten gets around him. Bold move. Crossover by Edwards. Edwards makes it stick coming back out of the corner. And it looks like Van der Staap went very wide, lost a lot of ground there. And down to the infamous U-turn here, the hairpin. Edwards dives off, it looks like into the pits. And there goes Van der Staap off into the pits as well. So Verpetten's going to pick up a lot of fighting and banging to go on. But Verpetten's going to pick up 4th spot. I think now would be a good time for him to try and put in a good in-lap and possibly head into the pits, serve that penalty, get a new set of tires, and be done with it. Edwards dives in, getting a new set of tires, new front wing. And Van der Staap is back out. Van der Staap only had to do a tire change, so Edwards loses position heading in. You see where Sandro Dulius comes into play with all this, and there he is. Oh! That is Sam Elvin there. Oh, and he's trying to put it on, trying to get around Cameron Weston Edwards. I think Edwards and Dulius are going to be able to pull away from him just a little bit. The battle's really going to probably end up being between Edwards and Dulius. So you see Edwards in hot pursuit. They're starting to just pull a little bit on Elvin. Look at the line that Edwards took there. Very nice, tight line. Hard didn't wiggle at all. Gets a good run coming out of the corner. Dives down to the inside of Dulius. And Sandra's not going to be able to hold the ball. Oh, the back end kicks out on Edwards' car. Elvin is still there, hanging tough. And Elvin, oh, he tries to take the inside line, had a little bit more grip. Oh, no, and Edwards goes off into the grass just a little bit, drops the left side tires. Elvin trying to hang tough with these two. Elvin hasn't had the best season so far. He's had a few DNFs, but he's hanging tough right now. Edwards gets a good run out of the corner there to get on the back of the Scuderia Ferrari. He's in the slipstream of Sandro, dives out. Now it's a drag race to the inside. Oh, and Sandro shuts the door and runs. Oh, but he runs off into the pits. So that was all for naught. So now your battle's going to be between Sam Elvin and Cameron Weston Edwards. Elvin is now in the slipstream. This is the battle for 6th position. So a good run so far for Sam Elvin. Try and put it to some of the big boys here. Elvin has not scored a lot of points this year, so finishing mid-pack would be a great result for him, especially in the wet. That is Sandro's second pit stop today, and I'm not even sure that he needed to make that pit stop. They pitted about 8 laps ago. And Catalda is now headed into the pits, and Elvin loses the back end coming out of that corner there. As Edwards is going to start to pull on him just a little bit. So it looks like Francis McGinn just got around Yannick Verpetten, who has yet to pit. He's got a 5-second stop-and-go penalty. He's yet to pit so far. He worked his way up to third. McGinn gets around him. Nick Van Gelder is going to become your leader, as Catalda had called in and out. So now Catalda is in the second spot. Van Gelder is yet to make a pit stop. So a good run for him. He's run second most of the day. Actually, he's run third most of the day. See Catalda there. I wonder how long it'll be before Catalda catches him and passes him. And already, Catalda is within half a second. Look at that car just slide out there just a little bit. So this is your battle for the lead. Catalda in and out of the pits. New set of tires. Van Gelder is yet to pit. They're coming up on some slower traffic, it looks like. Catalda's all over the back of him. And that is the AI car of Lewis Marshall. Oh, and look at that. Catalda dives to the inside. Van Gelder tries to keep it strong on the outside, drops the left side tires in the grass. Catalda is now back out in front. And that is all she wrote. Catalda is going to pull away from that. He's immediately almost 7/10 of a second up. 8/10 now. So he'll be a second up at the line on Nick Van Gelder. So your next closest battle on track right now is Sam Brandt, back from retirement as a Haas reserve driver, and he's all over the back of Colin Higgins. Higgins had a really good run out at the last outing in Mexico, finished mid-pack, putting some good points. So a good run for him. Sam Brandt had never raced at the Mexico circuit before, and now Francis McGinn sets the fastest lap with a 1:49.567. We watched Sam Brandt here try to make up some time on Colin Higgins. It looks like Higgins is actually pulled out away from him. You see that racing line just starting to develop. Right, looks like it might be getting a little lighter. So we may see a switch over here, a crossover between the intermediates and the wets. Oh, but Higgins runs wide through that corner. All that time that he put on Sam Brandt, Brandt was able to make back up at that last corner there. He's got a good run down the straightaway here. He's in the slipstream, dives out. Oh, Higgins shuts the door on him. And sneaking into this picture as we look at the back of the Haas is Sandro Dulius in the Scuderia Ferrari. That is the 10th place car. He's closely followed by Marusic in the Sahara Force India in 11th. I should note that Louis Quinlan, we have not talked much about in this race, he went off in the opening lap. Him and Sam Brandt made some contact. Quinlan is currently 14th and last on the field. Oh, and you see how wide Brandt runs there coming out of that corner. So you've now got a three-way battle for the 8th position. And Sam Brandt, who retired back in November, came back in round 13 in Mexico a few weeks ago. They both run very wide coming out of there. Brandt has been working vigorously behind the scenes on working with Gran Turismo for a GT Sport SRL League Championship that he will start sometime in the May-June time frame. So that's what he's been concentrating his efforts on. Come back as a reserve. And now he's trying to fight off his old friend and foe, Sandro Dulius, here for the 9th position. Higgins running very well, holding these two off in this 8th spot. Oh, and Dulius all over the back of that. Sandro just giving him a little nudge, it looked like. Sandro's going to pull out here, try and dive to the inside. Brandt takes the more defensive line. Sandro's going to cut back to the outside, maybe try a crossover move. Oh, and he bangs into the rear, breaks his wing, and then immediately dives into the pits. A bold move by Sandro to try and make that happen. Broke his front wing, and now again, Dulius is into the pits for the 3rd time today. So Brandt will pick up the 8th position. Marusic was able to stay out of that melee. Looks like he's having some traction issues, but he is going to be in the 9th position. So do a little bit of a grid reset here for you. Got a couple guys in the pits. Higgins decided to head in as well. And I see floating tires in the background. So is this it? Is this the time? Looks like Higgins has made the switch over to the intermediates. And so has Dulius. Repetton's got another 5-second penalty. So it looks like Sandro and Higgins are going to take their chances on switching over to the intermediates now. See if that helps them at all. We're working lap 16 of 28. You see the back end just want to slide out a little bit there. Ooh, and Sandro kind of power slides coming out of that corner just a bit. Repetton is finally making his pit stop. See if he serves his 5-second stop and get a penalty, gets a new set of tires. It looks like he's going to be heading out onto the intermediates as well. Me personally, I think it's a little soon for intermediates. You see Cameron Weston-Edwards in the back there. He's going to jump into the pits. Looks like he swapped over to the intermediates as well. So for me, it's too early. Sam Elvin, it looks like Sam Elvin's car has gone AI. That's bad news for him. He was doing so well in this race. He's now actually worked his way up to 5th through pit sequence and staying out on full wets. But he's gone AI. And his car definitely does not sound like it's on the gas. That's a shame for Sam. He was having such a good run. So we'll do a little bit of a grid reset here, give you a running order. Here's Bart Gadelda. He is your leader. He is 14 seconds ahead of Francis McGinn in the McLaren. If you go 25 seconds back from him, you're going to pick up 3rd place Nick Van Gelder. About 2 seconds back from him is Rene van der Stap. Sam Elvin is currently running 5th. His car has gone AI, it looks like. Well, maybe he's back in control of it. Yep, looks like Sam is back to being in control of the car. The question is now, is he having controller issues again or internet issues again? But Sam Elvin is hanging tough. He's about worked up his way up to 5th. Gavin Repetton is in 6th currently. He's 6.5 seconds behind Sam. You go 13 seconds back from that. You have Cameron Weston-Edwards, who has made this crossover to the intermediate tires. This is really going to start picking up some of the intermediate guys, the ones that made the pit stops, to see if they can make up some of that time throughout the second half of the race. Sam Brandt is still out on full wets. the Haas. He's in 8th. Colin Higgins, he came in and made a stop. It looks like Catelda there is going to be going around him. So Higgins is officially 10th and a lap car. Sandro's also made a pit stop and switched over to the intermediates. He's up to 11th. There's Yo Marusic. He is in the Sahara Force India in 11th. Ben Ricchetti has gone AI, has not been able to make a reconnection. He's been back and forth with his internet connection today. Lewis Marshall was rocking the Williams earlier and was fighting good for mid-pack there for the 4th, 5th, 6th spot. Him and Edwards made some contact earlier, and either he lost connection or decided to rage quit. Not sure what the deal was there with Marshall, but he's running 13th. And Louis Quinlan, he is running 14th. And it looks like he has gone AI as well. Not sure when that happened. It was probably shortly after his contact with Sam Brandt on the opening lap. So, no DNF so far, but we do have a couple of disconnects here in the back of the field. Ben Ricchetti, Lewis Marshall, Louis Quinlan. So your last official band driver would be Jur Marusic right now, and he is rocking the 11th place on the intermediates, and he is 11 seconds behind Sandro for 10th. So your closest battle on track right now is between Sam Brandt in the Haas F1 and Cameron Weston Edwards. And Brandt is still out on the full wets while Edwards tries to make the intermediates work. And it looks like Brandt's got those full wets working for him pretty well. Gets a good run coming out of that corner. He's going to try and move to the inside. He's not going to be able to make it stick here. Oh, he goes in deep. Oh, and Edwards runs wide and lets him go through. So maybe Edwards knows that his car wasn't fast enough with the intermediates on. Edwards still in the slipstream. See if he tries to make a move back on him. Perhaps Edwards did not let him go by and he just went into the brake zone a little too late. Ran wide. So Brandt gets the position. That's for 7th. So now we'll see if Edwards can manage to get that position back. But Edwards is starting to pull on him a little bit. Now Barcatelda has just ran the fastest lap at a 1:48.4. And Catelda is still out on the full wets. So on full wets, instead of intermediates, Catelda has still managed to run the fastest lap. So maybe the intermediates wasn't a good switchover. I didn't think it was time yet, but I'm not a racer. This is currently your closest battle on track. And Edwards has been a part of the closest battles all day. But he is losing time to Brandt, so Brandt is going to secure that 7th position for now. And we got Sam Elvin is now heading into the pits. Repet should be able to pick up the 5th position. The question's going to be whether or not Elvin can hold off Sam Brandt, the 7th position. And Elvin is going to switch over to the intermediates. Here comes Edwards and Brandt down the front stretch. Elvin should be on your right. Here he comes out of pit lane. And he's going to get in between. Yes, he's going to get in between Cameron Weston Edwards and Sam Brandt in the 7th position. Now can Elvin hold off Edwards? And you see Catelda is still setting fastest laps now, a 1:48.291. He is still on full wets. Now we've got a 3-way battle for the 6th position again. You've got Sam Brandt on full wets in the Haas F1. Just a tick behind him, 1.6 seconds, is Sam Elvin. He just switched over to intermediates in the factory Renault. And Cameron Weston Edwards in the Sauber Ferrari, which is now this year in reality the Sauber Alfa Romeo.
So nice move by Elvin. He came in 5th. He comes out 7th. Not bad. And it looks like Sandro just managed to get around Colin Higgins for the 9th position. Higgins may not be done with him, but this battle is 43 seconds behind what we were just watching. But this is the closest battle on track right this second. Oh, but now that Edwards and Elvin are side by side, Edwards still trying to work on the back of Elvin, can't make the pass. And what has happened up here? Looks like Van Gelder has managed to catch up and get around Francis McGinn. I don't know if that was through pit sequence. I'm sorry I missed that. This is your battle for second. We're going to watch this for a second as the back ends of both of these cars kick out. Can McGinn get back to him? Looks like McGinn has come in and switched out to the intermediates. This must have been what that was. You see Van Gelder there, he's still out on the full wets. The rain has definitely started to slow down here as we start to work into this third section of the race now. The rain has definitely slowed down. The dry line is, well, I wouldn't say dry line, but the racing line is definitely starting to form a lot here. And it looks like the sun is starting to peek through the clouds, so I would definitely say now would be a good time to switch over to the intermediates. You still got some guys out there on full wets. But now it looks like most of the guys have managed to switch over. Cadelda has come in at some point and switched over to the intermediate after running his fastest laps. So really Van Gelder is the only active driver on the full wets, as Betterichetti, Marshall, and Quinlan, they're all three are AI at this point. They're still in full wets. And Van Gelder has been able to pull away from Francis McGinn. We'll take a look back at this battle here. Looks like Edwards is still working on the back of Elvin. It looks like Sam Brandt must have come in and switched out to the intermediates, gave up a couple of positions. So Edwards still working on the back of Elvin. See, Sandro is leading the way with pit stops today. Here's your position changes throughout the day. Sam Elvin is the most improved driver today as he's worked his way up 6 positions. I'm sorry, Peck would be the most improved driver. He's worked his way up 8 positions, but he did have to serve that 5-second penalty. That is the lap car. That's the AI car of Alexino Betterichetti. Clearly had some internet issues today. And it looks like Edwards just clipped the grass there with the right side tires. Saw a little bit of grass come up. Just trying to not lose too much time working on this latter part of the race. We're working lap 22 of 28. On the back end, kicks out again. You can really see that racing line starting to really form there. This is a very interesting time because it's 22 of 28. Depending on how fast this track dries out, somebody may actually take a chance of running 1 or 2 laps on the slicks. Now you saw Elvin run wide through that corner there. It looked like he might have been trying to get some water on those tires and cool them down a little bit. Try to get some traction on that wet. You see they're both off of the actual racing line itself coming down the straightaway. Running about a half a length, or half a width wider. Half a lane, I should say, about a half lane wider. See Elvin dives down to the inside again looking for water. Elvin run wide again. You can see the front end just push a little bit. The car's starting to plow. He's not getting any grip on that front end. Elvin's doing a very good job of keeping Edwards at bay there. He's keeping him back there. Actually pulls a little bit of a gap out on him now. In a good run through that last corner. Oh, but he goes wide. The back end kicks out off of the curb. Lost all that time that he put on him, and now Edwards is within striking distance. Looks like Marusic is heading into the pits. He's back in 11th. And Edwards now is, big touch. He bangs the back of the car. Oh, and he cuts the grass there just a little bit. Too much more of that, and he'll get a 5-second stop-and-go penalty for exceeding the track limits. You see, he just drops the right side there. Oh, and he cuts to the inside. That's a very close call. Elvin's going to try the crossover move. Gets a good run coming out of the corner. They bank wheels. Now it's a drag race down the straightaway. Edwards cuts back in, cuts back out. Elvin has not given up without a fight. Edwards dives to the inside. Elvin's going to try the crossover move again. Gets a good run coming out of the corner. Got a caution in sector 1. Not sure who that's for or what it's about. Elvin managed to hold him off, and now Edwards is going to make another dive bomb move as he tries to cut down to the inside. Oh, Elvin tried to keep him at bay. Oh, they bang wheels. Elvin cuts back inside. The line was to his advantage. Oh, and he tries to push Edwards wide. Oh, and he shuts the door on him as he takes the outside lane away. Unbelievable racing from Sam Elvin, putting in a good run today. Edwards is doing everything he can to try and get around him, and Elvin is throwing everything back at him. Unbelievable race between these two. Edwards is going to step back and regroup and take another run at him here, and I'm sure in the next half lap. He cuts through the grass again just a smidge. He's just getting the outside right part of that front tire out onto the grass just a little bit. Trying to make this track as short as possible. And the rain has almost stopped. You can see the patches of wet are now starting to dry up. Will anybody be brave enough to jump in and put some slicks on? You see the sliding of these cars are still a little bit there as Edwards goes down to the corner of the back. It just twitches a little bit. He jumps to the inside. Elvin is going to put the crossover move back on him again. And now it's another drag race down the straightaway. See, Edwards tries it again, coming down to the end of this straightaway. Dives to the inside. He's not going to let Elvin try and make that crossover move. Elvin's going to put the power down on the outside. I don't know why we're looking at the back of the car again. Jump on board here as he jumps to the inside again. Oh, they're going to bang wheels a little bit. He throws his hand up as to say, what the hell? Elvin's not done with him. He tries to cut back inside. And it looks like finally Edwards is able to make this one stick. Is Elvin going to be able to make his way back around? Oh, he gets a good run coming out of the corner. They're side by side still. Elvin's not done. He's got the preferred line headed in. Oh, Edwards has got more grip. Elvin tries to push him wide. Edwards is not going to deal with that. He's got the grip on the outside right now. Oh, this is some good side by side action. Elvin can't make it work. Elvin trying to hang tough. He cuts short there on the inside. Oh, and he screwed the grass. That was definitely cutting corner right there. He's trying to stick with Edwards so bad. And I can't say that Edwards didn't do it when he was in the same position. Because Lord knows I've seen some grass flying today. Look at the brake rotors glow on the Renault. In a car there, it looks like that might have been Marusic. He clearly and quickly gets out of the way, lets these two go by as they battle for position still. Nothing's changed at the top of the order, by the way. Mark Catelda is still your leader. He's 13 seconds ahead of Nick Van Gelder, who made the pass on Francis McGinn when McGinn switched over to his intermediates. Rene Vanderstappen has worked his way up to 4th. Verpetten is 5th. We're watching the battle between Cameron Weston Edwards and Sam Elvin for 6th here. Sam Brandt is 8th. Julius is 9th. Higgins is 10th. And Marusic rounds out your remaining manned drivers as Elvin puts the move onto the inside. Edwards is going to try the crossover move this time. And now it's a drag race down the front stretch. Elvin gets a good run coming out of that last corner. And now Edwards is going to be in the slipstream again. He's going to jump out of line, jumps down to the inside. Elvin's going to try the crossover move, and that's going to give him the unpreferred line heading into turn 2. Look at this. Elvin's going to cut back. Oh, they banged it back on him. Going to be weight damage on that one. It was almost a good move. He couldn't quite get the front end to turn in. Elvin is throwing everything he's got at Edwards, and Edwards is doing the same blow for blow as they go back and forth. Elvin dives to the inside again. Edwards with the crossover move. And now it's a drag race as they're side by side here. Oh, Elvin tries to push him wide. There's more grip out there, though. Edwards gets a good run, comes back to the inside. And here they are, toe and toe, and look at this side by side now. Edwards has the preferred line headed into the corner. He tries to push Elvin wide. Elvin's going to let him go by. Now Elvin's going to try and get on the inside here at the next corner. Oh, and they break deep. Edwards is going to do the crossover move. Elvin couldn't hang on to the car. The front end pushed out. Oh, and look at this. Elvin gets a good run just on a little bit more wet there. He's got a little bit more grip for those intermediates. He tries to push Edwards wide. And Elvin's going to shut the door on him as they go into this next series of corners. Oh, it looks like he might have gotten a little bit of a bump there by Edwards. Oh, and he gets pushed wide here. Edwards makes the pass. Crossover move by Elvin. It's a good run coming back out of it. Elvin had put the power down, made that work. And now they run down the long back stretch. They're going to head down here to the hairpin. Edwards, smart enough. Oh, good line by Edwards. He's going to push him wide coming out of the corner. Oh, and he pushes Elvin in the grass. Elvin's not backing down. He's still side by side with him. He didn't let it bother him a bit. Then Elvin gets a good run coming out of the grass of all places. Edwards has to hang tough. He's on the outside. Oh, and the back end starts to kick out on Edwards. Almost lost the back end there. Great counter steer effect. Working lap 27 of 28. And Edwards is still all over the back of Elvin as he's trying to hold him off. Looks like Edwards is going to take a breather here real quick. Regroup and just going to take one more stab at it as these two are not done. Dives back to the inside. Oh, and he pushes Elvin wide just a little bit. Drops the left side on the grass. That didn't work last time with Elvin. Oh, and now Elvin's pushing Edwards wide. Oh, now it's starting to get a little too much there, guys. A little bit of argy-bargy between these two. Oh, and Edwards, the back end kicks out just a little bit. They make more contact with the right front and left rear. The rain is pretty much dissipated at this point. The track is almost dry, it looks like, in certain spots. A little bit of spray coming off here on the second half of the track. The first half of the track looks like it's a little bit more dry than the rest of it. So we've got some changing conditions as these two are going back and forth. Edwards gets a good run out of that corner this time, but Elvin is going to be in the slipstream. Edwards takes the more defensive line as they come down the front stretch. Ooh, and Elvin goes in deep. Oh, and they bang wheels again. Elvin wants that preferred line for turn 2, but it's not going to be there. Edwards is going to take it away. I can watch that helicopter view all day when it's this close. Elvin all over the back of Edwards. This is lap 28 of 28. This is for all the marbles, folks. These two have put on a show the last 8 laps of this race.
And now Elvin's on the outside. There's a little bit more grip out there. Oh, and they bang wheels! And Edwards is going to go around, and that is going to be it. Edwards loses it as they bang wheels. He's got wing damage on the left front. The end plate is gone. I don't think he's going to be able to catch up. And Red Bull there, that is not for position. I'm sure that is Catalda, who has come up. Yes, that is Bart Catalda, who's come up on the back of this battle. And he's going to end up lapping all the way up to the 7th place car, which is Cameron Weston Edwards. And Sam Elvin, if he can hang on to this will be the drive of his career so far. Easily some of the best battling I've seen so far this year. And I gotta say, there's a lot of touching, a lot of argy-bargy. I think both drivers kept it as clean as they possibly could. And it looks like Edwards' car just washed out in that last corner in the front end, and he made a little bit of contact with Elvin. I don't think there was anything malicious there. That is purely a racing incident in my mind. And Elvin is going to come across, and Louis Quinlan has joined from the last lap. And Catalda has crashed his car at the start-finish, and that will possibly be under review. That is a little bit frowned upon here at SRL too. Even though you've won the race, that is still frowned upon. We'll have to see what the stewards have to say about that. So Bart Catalda is your winner. He picks up his 7th win of the season. That will still not give him the points lead, even though Killian Brady is no longer in the SRL. That still does not give him the points lead. He'll still be about 3 or 4 points shy of that. Nick Van Gelder is your 2nd place finisher. Another good run from him. This is what we expected from him in Mexico. Francis McGinn, possibly the most improved driver so far this year, finishes on the podium again. Rene van der Stap had a great battle earlier on in the race for the 6th position. Managed to work his way up to 4th. Verpet is 5th. Sam Elvin, a big congratulations to him. His best finish of the year so far. A great battle with Cameron Weston Edwards for 6th. Edwards is 7th. Sam Brandt will be 8th. Sandro with another dismal race as he will finish 9th. Colin Higgins, 10th. And Joa Marusic, he actually did make the switch to the slicks. Possibly a little too late, but good for him for trying to give it a go. Clearly it was not working out for him. Alexino Benricchetti went ghost, lost his connection. He is 12th. Lewis Marshall also either lost his connection or quit in frustration, is 12th. I'm sorry, 13th. And Louis Quinlan is 14th. That runs out your 14 drivers for the day. Very exciting race. Be interesting to see if any penalties are assessed here at the end. That is clearly Max Verstappen. That is supposed to be Bart Catalda. So don't get any confusion there. But Bart Catalda walks away with his 7th win of the year. That is Nick Van Gelder and Francis McGinn, 2nd and 3rd on the podium. So a big congratulations to those 3. And you see here your finishing order. These are your official results. So great race for everybody involved. And this has been round 14. So check us out in the next couple weeks. Round 15 will be at Singapore, which is a night race around the street circuits. Look forward to that. You can also look forward to, in the near future, we're actually going to do a interleague SRL versus IRL. If you're not familiar with the IRL, go to my YouTube page, Kamikaze Fox. Check out some of the IRL racing that is going on. You'll see a lot of crossover between some of the drivers as well. So be sure to check that out. We'll have more information on that coming to you here in the near future, SRL versus IRL. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to SRL for more cool racing videos like these.
get caught up on the season with the old videos and news and whatnot. Leave a like, leave a comment. Appreciate everybody joining in. You can also like my page, Kamikaze Fox. Got some IRL races, do a lot of Grand Theft Auto stuff. Not for the faint of heart. The language is quite harsh, so not safe for work. And appreciate everybody coming by. Be sure to check out SRL for more videos and up-to-date news. And we'll see you in Singapore.